Hey there, Beer and Whiskeyers. I'm Russ Heaps, and welcome to this episode of Big John and Five. This is one of our episodes where I get my good buddy here, Big John Richards, who is our beer whisperer for Beer and Whiskey. Usually, and he picks a beer and that he wants to talk about, and we sip them and talk about them and talk about the brewery a little bit. We did something a little different this week because we're still kind of in the Wu flu lockdown. We were supposed to be at Barley's today, and they've had a little situation there, and we couldn't get in there. So here we are back in my home studios. So I was at Total Wine yesterday and just found a few things, and this happens to be one of them. And Big John, what do we have here in front of us?
Drinking a Pilsner, Russ. We were just talking about the fact that we haven't done many of these, and thought this would be a good get back on track moment for us. Get back to one of the classic styles. And this is a great choice. Highland Pilsner actually holds up really well against most of the rest of the country's attempts at doing good Pilsner. So I think you've found us a good one here.
Every once in a while it happens.
Wow.
So Highland Brewing in Asheville.
Yep. North Carolina's largest local brewery, and one of our staples for the region, Western North Carolina and the upstate. They've been around since '94.
And Pilsner, if I remember my beer diagram,
Yes.
Pilsner's actually a lager.
A lager, and that's part of the whole kind of resurgence of light beer in general. You know, when most of these craft brewers started, they've made exclusively ales because lager tends to be a much more time and space intensive beer. So to do a true lager and do it well, you really have to do it on some kind of a scale and with a footprint in your brewery. So it's a more expensive beer than you would think.
It's a major commitment.
It's a commitment. So seeing a lot of these lagers and these lighter, traditional style of beers pop out in craft is, I think, really, it's a great place for us to be because it brings a lot more people into the fold. Pilsner is, in the beer world, a relatively new style because it's only about 150 years old.
It was only yesterday.
Right, seriously. With 10,000 years of brewing under our belts as a species. So with the advent of refrigeration, really Pilsner became a thing. And then being able to transport, yada, yada, yada. We can get into that on a different, on Beer 101 or something. But Pilsner is all the big macro stuff is really based on Pilsner. And it's all kind of that very light, clear, hop forward, dry, clean, easy beer.
And typically session beer.
Typically session beer, yeah. There's very, very few Pilsners that get over 6%.
Yeah.
This one's 5.5, which is big for a Pilsner. Not out of the ordinary by any means, but
right.
Especially when you think of American lager and what we're used to seeing, that's going to be this color that we're about to pour. 5.5, so it's enough to get your attention if you were drinking several of them.
Well, I think we ought to give this a go.
So one thing you should do, especially when you're drinking hoppy beer.
This is a helpful.
Yeah, helpful tip for those of you at home. Look at the bottom of your can, and it'll give you usually a born on or a filled on date or a drink by date, and you'll be able to see how fresh your beer is. When you're drinking something this light, freshness is very, very important. When you're drinking something hoppy, freshness is very, very important. So the fact that we're in the first month, you probably couldn't see that on camera, but we're just under 30 days from the day this can was filled. We're in a really good spot to have fresh beer in front of us. So.
Good. I without my glasses, my cheaters, I couldn't read this, let alone the folks at home, I'm sure.
Yeah. So pay attention to that kind of thing when you're drinking your beers, guys, because sometimes bad things happen and you get beer that you really shouldn't have in your hands, and it doesn't turn out like you think it's going to. Good carbonation level on that.
Yeah.
I'm pleased with that. Looks nice.
Well, that's a pretty beer.
Yeah, and that's speaking of the last 150 years, with the advent of glass that was affordable for everyone, this beer that you could hold up in the sunlight, it sparkles and it's clear and it's pretty.
Yeah.
Everybody went, wow, what is this thing? And then you drink it and it's fresh and it's light, it's effervescent and it's spritzy, and that it's easy to see why this beer took over the world when it did.
Yeah, I know it's a ridiculous amount, something like 80% of beer or something is Pilsner.
Yeah, Pilsner derived.
Yeah,
Yep.
I know it's a huge amount. Well, sir,
You're still.
text Miss Lily. Gotta
Don't forget, it's just as important to smell your beer as it is to tap the table with it.
go. I forgot to smell. See, I can't keep, I'm old, I can't keep all this straight.
Too many steps.
I need to have a list, a checklist here.
Yeah, it really is a nice aroma. A fresh Pilsner really should have a little whiff of sulfur.
Really?
Yep. And just a little kiss there, and this has a little touch of that funk to it, which I like.
Well, I know, you're a big funk guy.
Yeah. One bass player, sue me.
3 chords and you got a career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that nice balance between the malt and those fresh German. There's a very German, spicy hop to it, and it's a clean, real firm bitterness on the finish. But the malt on the front end is sweet, almost like
Yeah.
the first thing that hits you is not bitterness, it's sweetness, and that balance between that very, very light kind of white bread, kind of crackery, saltines crackers, kind of a sweetness, a maltiness, and then get into that real floral, spicy, and
then kind of a dry
and really
finish.
dry, very dry finish. I hesitate to call it a bitter finish,
I wouldn't call it that.
but it's dry like champagne.
Yeah. And isn't it, again, I'm drawing on I do a spirits column for a website, and I did one on Pilsners, and it seems to me, aren't there only there's a particular kind of, is it the noble
Noble hops.
hops?
Yep.
But there are several.
There are 4 noble hops. I'm gonna see if I can get them right. There's Hallertau, there's Spelt, there is Pearl, or Pearly, or Perla, and that's what I'm missing. It's the famous one, Saz. And these guys, if I remember right, use Hallertau and Pearl and 2 more hops in this particular Pilsner. And of course, Americans are going to feel free to use whatever they want to. But I think that's created a little bit more aggressiveness to the finish,
Yeah.
aggressiveness to the bite than your typical German Pilsner, although not by much. This really fits in well with most of the stuff we get over here that comes from Germany. And
Yeah, this has a really nice, I've never had this before.
Ah.
Yeah, this has a really nice flavor to it.
it does. This is that, this is beer.
Mm-hmm.
This is what beer tastes like.
Yeah. Yeah. And our,
God bless it.
yeah, indeed, indeed. We are friendly with Highland, and
I'm not sure where that was going.
yeah, but it's still a family-owned and operated brewery, and they're terrific folks. They got a great tasting room. If you're ever in the Asheville, North Carolina
Absolutely.
area, and if you're a beer lover, you got to go at some point to that area.
And they run a ever-changing series of beers through their pilot system. You're liable to find 6 or 7 beers at a given time that are unique to the brewery. So that's always an adventure too. And
Yeah.
they're great people up there, and it's Absolutely not to be missed.
And I think with that,
I think we should send them
Big
home.
John, yeah,
Yep. Cheers.
we'll see you next time.